The hardest part of any habit, skill, or project isn't the start or the finish. Where most people quit is the middle. The long stretch of no applause, no results, and you're starting to ask yourself, is this even worth it? Today, I'm showing you 3 mindset tricks that will make the boring middle not just bearable, but the part where you actually separate yourself from the pack. But to understand these, we have to dissect what actually makes people quit in the first place. Do you ever start a habit, project, or task and just feel super motivated? Then you work at it for a few months and the results aren't coming and it starts to get a bit tedious and boring. Then eventually it gets to the point where your brain starts making up rational reasons to quit. Eventually, the uncertainty becomes too much to bear and you jump ship to the next shiny thing. And now you're here because you feel shit about yourself because you can't stick through anything long enough to see results. Have you ever wondered why that happens? It's because of the emotional cycle of change. And it looks like this. When you're starting anything new, you're excited. You've seen this creator hit 100k subscribers in a year and you think, I've got ideas, I can present, I can make YouTube videos, let's do this. That's uninformed optimism. After you upload your first 10 videos, you realize, damn, scripting's actually really hard. Editing YouTube videos actually takes 3 hours, and you need good titles, good thumbnails, all of it. When you realize it's just not about having good ideas, you've hit informed pessimism. Next is the valley of despair. You poured your heart into these videos. You've learned all the editing software. You've tried different thumbnail styles, and you're posting twice a week. But you're still sitting at 90 subscribers and your videos get 34 views. The pessimistic thoughts start bleeding in and you feel generally meh about the whole thing. Does this feel familiar? For most of us, this emotional and motivational deflation is just too much to bear and we jump ship before we get to the informed optimism and eventually success. So why is this so important? Because this valley of despair is the place we need to get good at dealing with. So how do we survive the valley? We change what we're measuring. It's easy to think about success linearly, like it's destined to happen in an upward trajectory. But what we see with a lot of successful people is that they spend months or years surviving this boring, long, torturous wait with no results, and then after that, the results come exponentially. It's like pushing a boulder over a hill. It's brutal and slow and hard work. But when you get to the top, the gravity does all the work. The problem is that we never get close enough to the top of this hill for things to flip around and for us to take advantage of it. So how do you last until the results come? You need to redefine progress and link it to something else. Instead of asking yourself, like, do I have 100k subscribers yet? Ask, am I doing the right daily actions? Am I doing enough of those daily actions? Or even, how different am I to a couple of months ago? This is designed to make us think about all the other things we're leveling up in aside from those tangible results. Because there'll always be something. Even if you're not seeing results at the gym, you're still building that discipline muscle by doing something every day. And even if a YouTube channel is not growing, every video you make, you're still improving your craft. So ask yourself, what is one skill I'm building right now that does not have anything to do with tangible results? Because when the journey becomes about more than just the results, consistency feels like a much easier game to play. So you know that being results obsessed isn't going to get you anywhere, but you're too lazy and demotivated to do the thing, and you feel like a lazy quitter. Why do we feel this way even though we have no reason to? Our brains are addicted to outcome and certainty. But in this long stretch of nothingness, none of that is visible. So when we use it as our motivation, its oxygen runs out and it eventually dies. And suddenly that drive that got you started simply evaporates. Our brains crave consistency between our beliefs and our actions. When those things are out of whack, we call that uncomfortable tension cognitive dissonance. For example, we'll tell ourselves that we only exercise because we want to be healthy, but we feel deflated every time we look in the mirror and see that our body looks the same. So you're not quitting early because you're lazy. You're quitting because you can't deal with that pain. So how do we deal with that tension? Instead of fighting it, we use it. In terms of long-term consistency, outcome-based motivation is like car petrol, while identity-based motivation is like a nuclear reactor. So those who get through the boring middle aren't asking, what am I doing? They're asking, who do I have to become to make this come true? So here's an action point right now. Write down the task, habit, project, skill that you're trying to develop over a long period of time. And then next to it, write a short phrase about the person you need to become for that thing to be true. After you begin to identify yourself with a certain persona, every action you take after that becomes a vote for that new person. If you go to the gym, that's one vote for I'm a disciplined, health-oriented guy. But if you skip the workout, that's a vote for I'm a lazy, undisciplined sloth who quits when things get hard. And when we accumulate more votes, that identity becomes more sticky. And it eventually gets to a point where you're not doing it because I told myself I'd do it, but rather because that's the person I am. If you genuinely still see yourself as a lazy, undisciplined slop, you'll enjoy this video because I take you through the method I use to turn my low self-control and willpower into my disciplined superpower.